all ever heard about Anansi? Yes. Cool, come in the right place. Anansi is a what?
Spider.
Uh-huh.
Tricks.
Huh? An African story. And that's what I'm going to read for you today, all right? It's an African story. It's Anansi and Family, and it's written by Al Campbell. And I'm going to read the one about Anansi and his mother. Well, a little bit of pictures, but I'll show you. All right? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hey, Anansi and his mother. There was a time when Uncle Anansi was a simple spider boy who lacked cunning and guile. What he had at that time was an unusually clever mother named Assessa. All day long, Anansi would run to Assessa with questions about this and that, so forth and so on, or something or another. No matter how difficult the problem may have been, Anansi took it to his mother, and she always thought of a solution. Anyone has a mommy you always think of a solution? No.
Yes.
Come on now. I bet you if you go home this evening and answer a question, she'll come up with a solution.
Yes.
Alright? Well, thanks to her amazing wisdom, the house of Anansi prospered mightily. Anansi was extremely proud of his mother. Anyone proud of their mommy? Good.
I'm proud of my mom.
Great. Excellent. And often spoke of her as the wisest person with incredible intelligence and the deepest insight into any problem on the face of the earth. His one wish was that everyone who passed by his house would know that it was her impressive cleverness that had brought Anansi family great prosperity. For many years, Anansi worried his little head to find a good way to show off his mother's greatness to the world. One day, the solution came to him like a flash of lightning. A sign could be placed on the front gate in front of his house to proclaim his mother's importance. The little spider boy painted a sign that read, "Here lives the greatest mind in all the land. The wisest of the wise dwells within these walls." All who passed by the house saw the sign. Those who knew Kwaku Anansi thought, what a proud son he was to praise his mother in this way. But those who didn't know the little spider boy mistakenly thought that the sign referred to the spider boy and that he was therefore a big boaster. How many times do people get the wrong impression of us, eh? One day, a judge happened to pass Anansi's house. On reading the sign, his mouth opened wide and his lower lip dropped like a bottom falling from its bucket. His nostrils flared and his eyebrows knotted together in a horrid frown. What a boastful, conceited fellow lives here, he thought. What appalling arrogance! This chap must be the biggest windbag of all. Such braggadociousness should not go unpunished. When the judge returned to his chambers, he sent a clerk with a stern summons for Anansi to appear before the court forthwith. The summons so frightened little Anansi that he could scarcely speak enough words to tell his mother of it. Spider boy in frustration. Don't worry, my boy, said his mother. All things work together for good. Anansi was not consoled. He put his hand at his jaw. My dear Mama, what could I have done to bring this awful summons down on me? Maybe nothing much, his mother said, as she laid a calm hand upon his head. People are petty. Very small hearts they have most of the time. As you grow up, and this is for you too, you learn more and you'll be surprised at how mean some people can be. Have you ever met some mean people? But I didn't do anything wrong, Mama, he pleaded. I know, my son, but someone wants to cause trouble for you. Kwaku and Nancy pushed out his mouth. It's not fair! After a moment's thought, his mother said, yet there is one thing I can think of. It must be that sign on the gate that has caused offense. Really? It's not worth worrying about, Assessor replied. Go with the clerk to see the judge and have no fear. If you run into difficulty, we can talk it over when you return. Much relieved, Anansi went with the clerk and was soon standing before the judge, whose eyebrows by now had pushed so close together that they were a bit tangled. Can you imagine? He sat scowling behind his enormous desk, his arms folded regally as he looked down haughtily over his spectacles. So, the judge shouted, this is the braggart who posted an offensive sign on the gate. He's the one who dared to boast of his extraordinary cleverness. The spider boy was so dense that he simply stood in silence and trembled nervously. The judge leaned forward to glare into little Nancy's face. You want the world to believe that you are so smart that you can do anything at all, don't you? Very well, I'm going to set you straight. Undoing his crossed arms, the judge struck an angry fist on the table. I have 3 small tasks for you to perform. For a fellow of your extraordinary talents, they should prove to be easy. No difficulty whatsoever. Anansi nodded, he said. First, the judge yelled, you shall weave a cloth as long as a road. Can you imagine? Okay, sir, mumbled Anansi. Second, he screamed, you shall make as much rum as there is water in the sea. Yes, sir, stammered the spider boy. Third, the judge bellowed, you shall raise a pig as big as a mountain. No problem, sir, murmured Anansi. With a self-satisfied smirk on his face, the judge raised his hand and wound his finger in poor Anansi's face. He laughed mockingly at the spider boy. Of course, the judge continued, if you don't accomplish these tasks, 1, 2, 3, you will learn how this high court deals with swollen heads. Wretched and anxious, Anansi hurried home to his dear mother. Assessor, the frightened spider boy stuttered out 3 seemingly impossible demands made by the judge. Assessor threw her head back and laughed loudly. Welcome, my dear son, she said. The hardest problems are those with the simplest solutions. And Nancy continued to wring his hands. But what shall I do, Mama? I know that you can do anything, but the judge's orders are unreasonable. Assessor smiled, calmed her son's fears. It's really quite simple, my son. Rest well tonight. Tomorrow, you must go back to the judge and present to him 3 quite ordinary tools that I shall prepare for you. I will give you certain words to say when you take along these tools, and you must say them to the judge, just as I will teach you. The next morning, Anansi listened well to his mother's instructions. Are we going to be listening well to our mother's instructions from now on? Yes. All right. She also gave him a ruler, a large fish bowl, and a scale. Later that morning, the spider boy presented himself to the judge once again. When Kwaku and Nancy started to speak, the judge's eyebrows were frowning even more than ever before. But as the spider boy continued and laid in turn the 3 measuring devices before the judge, the eyebrows gradually lifted up and away from his eyes until they looked like distant birds flying in the sky. This morning, as I was setting out to do the task you gave me, Anansi explained, only then did I realize that I needed further instructions from you before I could complete the jobs. Therefore, Your Honor, I have taken the liberty of bringing these 3 tools to facilitate your task. I must respectfully ask you first to measure the road with this ruler that I may know the length of the cloth I must weave. Second, please measure the sea's water with this bowl that I may know how much rum I must make. And third, I beg of you to weigh the mountain with the scale so that I may know how big a pig I must raise. And Nancy made a respectful vow. As soon as you have set the standards, Your Honor, I shall be pleased to finish the task. So puzzled was the judge at the cunning solution to his 3 problems that he allowed Anansi to go without punishment. Never again did the pompous judge ever try to test Anansi's wits. Truly, the judge believed that Kwaku Anansi had the greatest mind in all the land. Little did he know that it was Anansi's mother, Assessor, who was the wisest of the wise, and she dwelt within the secret walls of the mighty house of the nuts. The end.